No, April happens to be Donate Life Month. That is the time to honor those who gave the priceless gift of life after the loss of their own.
In this week's Healthy Living segment, Brianna Mortensen from UNM Health shows us how organ donation not only helps those who need a transplant, but also donor heroes grieving families.
Kelly was the personification of joy.
Who can say if I've been changed for the better?
Kelly Engel was a lot of things: a singer, an actress, an artist.
She was also her father's daughter. As a high school baseball coach, she loved baseball.
And at the age of 22, she became a hero. Kelly's young life was cut short by a crash near the New Mexico-Arizona border in April 2022. Through the tragedy, her family honored her wish to become an organ donor, giving the gift of life to others.
The people at UNMH were so kind to let her friends and our family members come in and say goodbye to Kelly.
And these cards, it's I want you to know about Kelly. These are really for the surgeons, so that they can have some kind of personal relationship with the patient that they're working on.
Hundreds of loved ones lined the hallway in UNM Hospital as Kelly was transported to the operating room for a procedure that would save 4 other lives.
Losing a child is probably one of the hardest things anyone could ever go through.
The theme of this year's Donate Life Month is Let Life Sing, with bird songs representing new beginnings and hope, as well as the return of loved ones through the gift of donation.
Even though Kelly was passing, she continues to live on in other people because of her generous gift of life.
In 2024, UNM Hospital supported 74 deceased donor heroes and their families, resulting in 125 lives saved. Right now, more than 400 New Mexicans are still on the wait list for a life-saving transplant.
It turns the worst event that ever happens in your life, and it turns it into one of the greatest events that's ever happened in your life.
Yeah, beauty from ashes, for sure.
I have been changed for good.
And we are joined now live by Selena Espinoza, the External Affairs Director for New Mexico Donor Services. Selena, of course, you often work closely with UNM Hospital on the topic of organ donations. 2024, as we heard in the story there, was a big year for donations. In fact, it was almost record-setting.
Yeah, the second highest in the state of New Mexico, and UNM is our biggest partner when it comes to organ donation. Last year, they saved 125 lives, which is just huge when you think about that ripple through our community. And this year, they're already on pace to set a record. So we are saving a record number of lives as New Mexicans through organ donation.
That's great to hear. Now, if people are interested in becoming an organ donor, maybe there might be some misconceptions. People might think I have to be young or of a certain health level, but that's not necessarily the case.
No, the oldest organ donor was 94.
Wow.
And they took his liver, transplanted it into a 30-year-old woman, and she lived with it for another 30 years.
Wow.
So it's really the health of your organs. We say don't unregister yourself because you think, oh, I have this pre-existing condition or I'm too old. You're never too sick, you're never too old. Anyone can register. All major religions support organ donation, and you're really giving the gift of life. You can't take it with you, and somebody else right now is waiting for that life-saving transplant.
And if they want to register, if they're not already, what are some places to do that? We often think of like the MVD, for instance, as one of those places.
We just heard about everybody getting their real IDs, right?
Yeah.
So when you go get that real ID, make sure you check that organ donor box, but also anytime at registerme.org. The nice thing about registerme.org is you can specify, like maybe you wouldn't want to donate your corneas. You can write that in there, whereas at the state registry, you can't do that. So it's just a good option. If right now you're at home, you saw Kelly's story and you want to register, registerme.org is the place.
It's just so difficult for the family of Kelly at age 22 to have to go through that. But as we heard, it is a way for that person sort of to live on.
Well, and they got to see Kelly's recipients and get to be able to watch that person grow and continue life. So it's a really big blessing. Well,
thank you again for being here and your time and all the success in 2024 and the fact 2025 has been a great year so far. So thank you again.